Delighted to say that Troy Deeney's in the building,
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
we've, as much as I say strong-armed him in, we wouldn't dare, but we've asked him to come.
I reckon I could take him.
Troy, we want to look back on last night's games, like we did much. You joined us down the line yesterday, and but we thought we'd look at last night's games and the sort of takeaways from the four games. Let's start with Everton Villa. I mean, Villa made pretty hard work of it. They had a lot of chances. Everton, I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin did miss a great chance at the end, but I think we kind of learnt that David Moyes has got a fair bit of work to do in a short space of time with games running out.
Yeah, I took it as I'm a bit defensive because he's the gaffer, but Sean Dyche wasn't that bad, was he? Because it's all the same problems that we knew.
Yeah.
Can they defend pretty well? Yeah. Are they okay in midfield? Yeah, but they just can't score goals.
Yeah.
And that's all what
How'd
Sean
you
Dyche
give a
did.
strike? I mean, I don't know if it's confidence, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin puts that one over the bar. It does bobble a bit, but would you?
Yeah.
You would expect him to put that away.
I don't.
No?
That's the point where we've got to. I
What,
don't
him
expect him.
but
Yeah,
you would
him
expect
personally.
a striker to put
I
that
would
away.
expect a striker in the Premier League to be able to hit the target at least, but I think with him now, I've seen 5 Everton games this season. I think Ipswich, he had 2 one-on-ones, missed both. One of them didn't even get a shot off, tried to take it around the keeper and he saved it. He just doesn't. He looks to me like he's burnt out. He looks tired mentally, not physically. He looks like the injuries have taken a toll. And when you look at his whole career, he had 18 months of scoring goals. After that, not a great deal.
Yeah.
And you have to look over the balance of his career that then starts to be the norm.
Yeah.
That he doesn't score a lot of goals as opposed to the 18 months where he had a bit of
Do you
a
think he
purple
needs
patch.
to look to try and bring in a striker before the window closes?
Absolutely, but who's giving them the service? They've got one player in Ndai who looks like he can do a little bit magical stuff, thinking off the cuff. Everybody else is, dare I say, very robotic. I don't mean that nastily.
Yeah.
I've got friends there, obviously, like Decore, but their job is to win the ball, drive directly. You need some flair. You need some people that you can kind of take a risk on, and that's what I would expect David Moyes to be trying to see if he can get some little bit of flares.
I'm assuming what he's going to try and do is, I mean, it seems weird from taking over from Sean Dyche, but stiffen them up and keep them up by sort of
They don't,
drawing their way
really,
to
the great
safety.
thing- I mean, most managers come in when there's defensive issues and they're leaking goals. He's come into a team that's got a pretty decent defensive record that can't score them. He's known as a bit of a defensive coach.
Yeah.
I mean, for old time's sake, he's a good appointment. You just wonder, is he what they need now? Is he?
No, I thought the 2.5 years was mental. I thought that was crazy. I understood the 6 months to the end of the season, let's revisit it. I totally understood that.
Yeah.
But you've got 13 players out of contract in the summer. It's all nostalgia. That's the only reason they're going back to David Moyes. If it wasn't David Moyes, who else would they get? I think it's a great job in the summer for somebody. Whole new rebuild, new stadium, new ownership is really exciting. But for this moment right now, nostalgia. And the group that own it, they've been doing that with Roma. If you look through their past 5 managers, have all been ex-players and coaches. So, yeah, Everton's a real great job, a historical club, but at the minute, I don't know how they're going to move forward. I really don't.
Let's talk a bit about Leicester, who lost to Palace 2-0 at home last night. And again, had a lot of chances, but Palace were clinical. They just took the few chances they had.
Yeah.
I mean, Van Nistelrooy is going to be chatting in a moment. I imagine Leicester fans are getting a bit concerned.
There should be.
Yeah.
Should be for a while now. It's the same. They play some good stuff between the boxes. They don't defend great and they don't score enough goals. It's Everton 2.0, isn't it?
Without that run of games at Man United, do you think Ruud van Nistelrooy gets that job?
No, I don't think without the name he gets that job. I think he had, even the games at Man United, they weren't. When you look at it from the opposite side, Man United, would they have expected to lose any of the games that he won? No, and he did his job. Look, I think he could potentially go on to be a really good coach. You can see what he's trying to do, the style of play, etc. My only concern is, are those players good enough to do it? And I would probably argue, based on the evidence that I'm seeing, that the answer is no, unfortunately. And it's a sad state of affairs because there's some good guys there, like Connor Cody and the like, some good lads.
Vardy missed one early, didn't he? You'd have put money on him to squeeze through.
The problem is, what's Jamie now, 37?
Yeah. Still relying on him.
But I feel like they've been trying to replace him since Brendan Rodgers was there. So, they haven't had anyone who can come in and dislodge him. So, yeah, a lot of nice players, unfortunately not at the level to be consistent all the time in the Premier League. That's the hardest thing.
Well, let's have a look at Wolves, who went into the bottom three last night, and they were sort of beaten, but again, created chances, didn't put them away, but they've got Isak and Gordon, and that was the difference. I mean, again, Wolves fans... Vita Pereira, it looked like he sorted things out a little bit when he first came in, but they've slightly reverted to type again, haven't they?
There's an old saying that water always finds its level. That's what's happening. So you see it now, Leicester, Wolves as well, have the little bump, new manager comes in, it goes like that. Even Man United, little bump, and then it goes back to where they are. And I think when you look at Wolves, I worked the game last week, Monday, when they played Forest. They were dead on their feet after 40 minutes. Because the new managers come in, wants an aggressive style of play, chase. They haven't had a pre-season for that.
Yeah.
So they get into games and they're just dying.
Yeah.
Like, not physically dying, but just like they're mentally like, I know we're supposed to run, but I can't do it anymore. And I think they're going to struggle. I really do. I said it at the start of the season. Thought Gary O'Neill had them in a solid place, but they wasn't going to score enough goals. And I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to outscore Ipswich and, dare I say, outscore Everton to stay up.
And then you get that added thing of in the camp where Lamina refuses to travel to the northeast and wants out, wants to go in this window. That's never good in the dressing room either, is it?
No, but everyone keeps forgetting the same guy that tried to fight Sean Derry, right?
Yeah.
So that's and you made him captain.
Yeah.
So let's call it as it is. He probably wasn't a nice person anyway at his core. Like his values he's very selfish, I would imagine. Not a team person. You made him captain, enabled that behaviour, and now you're seeing what happens when you have a manager who comes in and says, "No, I don't really like that. Yeah. Get rid of that." And he's now.
So if you were in that dressing room,
if I was in that dressing room, it'd have been up the wall within about 35 seconds. So it's that's probably why I'm not in the game anymore. I don't allow for that. Listen, again, not the best captain or whatever, but I was able to be captain for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You have to be able to understand your group, put your group's needs first. You can't be about you.
Yeah.
And if you're refusing to travel, then sorry, get with the under-18s, take as much money off him as you can if I was Wolves, and have him nowhere near the place.
Fair enough. Right. Arsenal Spurs, Scott Minter was there last night. He's going to join us for a fuller chat on the game. Let's start with Arsenal and the way they approached it. I mean, they had a lot of chances again. And only put two away. And, you know, Porro could have been a real smash and grab at the end of the one that hit the post. I mean, again, we were sort of talking off air, and we were coming. They're not going to have a lot of options in January. I know they've got big ideas to sign a striker, but I would. You were saying Danny Ings. Let's get someone who's. Let's just get someone like.
What I meant by that was, remember when Man United? Remember when Man United would sign Ibrahimovic or they signed Henrik Larsson, didn't they? For a season. So someone who knows the level, knows what it is. I don't mean Danny.
To go and buy someone who's been scoring goals for Salamanca, it doesn't seem a great idea in January. To go and find someone who scored goals in the Premier League, even on a short-term contract, something like that. I don't know. I'm not saying they're out there, but you're not going to get Sesko. You're not going to get Gyökeres. You're not going to get Osimhen in January. You're not going to get Liam Delap in January. I doubt, unless you pay daft money.
Get the money out of him.
I just think. Why would Arteta want to do it? If he did it, it's an admission that he's got it wrong and everybody else has got it right. So I think there's a stubborn ego thing.
His excuse would be he's lost Gabriel Jesus for the season, and he was
the guy that wasn't played at the start of the season.
Yeah. I mean,
right, listen, we'll talk all of this. I know Scott's going to break it down a little bit more. The most embarrassing thing I saw yesterday was the shirts that they all wore for Jesus. Just play the game. Murals of set piece coaches. What's going on? Does he not wind you up? I sit home and I'm watching the telly going, they've got like get well soon, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it's their teammate.
Okay. They could have gotten a moon pig, really. It would have been nice. Been a bit cheaper.
They'll be writing a song for him next year.
Oh, absolutely. But everyone gets injured, unfortunately. It's part of the game. You can't do, not every time. 3 months ago, they wanted him out the building.
And Tottenham, before we went out of time, I mean, I know you could do about 3/4 of an hour and you wouldn't.
Spurs.
I know, exactly. But I mean, as I said, Rio's sort of, I don't know, you just was the frustration of listening to a seasoned defender like that say, play the situation. Don't try and play for a press with a team with their tail up. Seriously, what are you doing?
Yeah, and I think you can have a manager and a coach tell you, here's the framework, do this, do that, but fundamentally it's on the players to make right decisions. Obviously, a lot was made on the young goalkeeper. Again, I was watching it like kick it now. No, really kick it. And every time he kept getting the ball taken off him. And then, but you look at like Basuma, seasoned player, try to take on 3 players in the middle of the pitch. You can't account for that as a coach. And unfortunately, who can you replace him with? Yeah. So for Spurs, look, I like Ange Postecoglou. I think he's been a little bit naive at times, but also, what are you changing him for? Yeah, there's not a better manager out there. Also, the squad's not that great.
No. I mean, do you think they could get sucked in? My worry is I look at the squad and I look at the manager's style of play, and I can't think of a worse collection of players or a manager to, KB scramble their way out of a relegation dogfight. I don't think they will.
Nah, I don't think they're going to be in it. I think they're going to have an uncomfortable 9th, 10th finish when it's just been a little bit of what was all that for? But
so if he gets 9th, 10th, and they have a little rally when they get Van der Ven and Porra, and
you can't excuse just how good those guys are for Spurs though, and the way that they do. No. I'd like to see what Archie Gray can do actually in his position in midfield.
So would we,
I think he's got a bit more composure on the ball than those other guys.
So 9th, 10th, and a trophy. Would that keep?
That'd be monumental for you guys, would it?
Would that keep him in a job next season?
I just don't think they're going to sack him. Like who's going to replace him
in the summer? I'm talking about. Not
in
now.
The summer.
I wouldn't sack him now.
It would be based on what he wants to spend and what he sees the vision of. I think he'll be hard pressed to keep his job if they. I don't think they're going to beat Liverpool personally in the Carabao Cup. And based on how Tamworth should have beat them, I don't think they're going to get that far in the FA Cup. So. Don't want to be nasty, but it's going to be another Spurs
season. Got the Europa League. See you in Bilbao. What are you laughing at?
You wasn't even confident saying that.
Thanks for popping in, Troy. Good to see you.
Cheers,
catch up with you Monday. Are you back in tomorrow with the boys? Are you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, brilliant. This is meant to be my day off.
Oh, sorry.
I got called in.
Thanks for coming in.
I feel so
Just
sorry
when you think you're out, they pull you back in again. Cheers, Troy. Thanks a lot.
Dad.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.